Today is the last day of my holiday on Mallorca, and I decided to make this holiday different than every single other holiday I had. So I set myself a challenge. Instead of watching Netflix all day and being unproductive, I packed my laptop and I set myself a clear goal to make my first SaaS application in 2 weeks' time. And I feel like I've been postponing this moment for like forever. I first watched all the videos on this topic and I even made my own SaaS boilerplate, and I didn't have any more excuses. So I tried to combine a holiday with coding, and that's how my 2-week indie hacking journey began. So you probably want to know what the idea was. And I always say in my videos that it's the best to test the interest first before you build anything, but I just didn't have the time. If I wanted to finish building that app in that 2 weeks time frame, I had to start building it right away. So I made the first founder mistake and I started building something that probably nobody would ever want. It's an AI-powered script writing app. The only thing that kept me at it was that I knew I would be using it anyway, so I just said, screw the testing, let's just build it. One thing I always do before coding any kind of UI is a quick design. So I usually take my iPad for this and I do a very quick sketch, and usually more than one. And if I decide on a main idea that I like, only then do I design all the details in Figma. So here's how I imagine my app to look like. On the left, I wanted a Notion-like editor to make the writing experience feel familiar, because I've been using Notion for like the past 2 years. And on the right side, I wanted to have an AI suggestions blog, and I really wanted it to work like GitHub Copilot. If you're a developer, you're probably familiar with it. And I also took some inspiration from Cursor, the new AI editor I'm going to talk about later. And I thought that I'd do little apply buttons that would then copy that text to the editor. When I write my YouTube scripts, I also often use AI to review my scripts. I, for example, ask it what kind of questions the audience might still have after watching that video, and then I know where to add more information and where something is maybe not as clear as it could be, and then I make adjustments based on that. And I think this is an absolute must in my app, and I'm still thinking how am I going to implement it exactly. But anyway, after I got the idea planned out, I then cloned my boilerplate repo for the SaaS boilerplate I mentioned before, and I began designing my folder structure, and then I got straight into coding. By the way, the boilerplate is free and it's available in the description. So the planning took the whole first day, but the next few days when I started coding were basically the same. I woke up and I went outside to catch some early morning sun. Then I ate breakfast and went for a quick workout in the gym. Then I went on to the pool side, sunbeds, and do some coding until lunch. And after lunch, I did more coding. And that's pretty much how every day looked like. And honestly, I quite enjoyed it. I also got to try the new AI-first code editor called Cursor. It's been so popular on the internet that you probably heard about it. And I'm honestly blown away by it, and I'm not sponsored, by the way. And I think it's amazing how far in the development of my app it got me. Most of the time it works like magic. You get the multi-file editing with Composer, you also get the inline editing, and you get to choose your own AI model. I think Claude is the best right now. I used it and it worked perfectly. And I also got to try out the new O1 model from OpenAI, and I didn't have to pay for the ChatGPT Plus subscription. But there are some times that it gets lost, but I honestly think it's mostly my mistake. And you know, when you have some kind of an issue that you can't fix with 1 or 2 prompts, and you try to prompt the AI more and more and give it more logs and more context about this error, and it can't fix it, and you try to apply all the things that it gives you, well, it sometimes can become a huge mess. And it happened to me, and I didn't commit the previous changes that I made, and I lost a whole day of work because of that, and I had to revert back to the previous day. and I was devastated, and I learned my lesson that you have to, as a developer, sometimes step in when the AI can't fix everything for you. And that's why I'm not afraid that AI will replace us, at least for now. So Cursor is definitely not an app for people who don't have any developer experience. And if somebody tries to tell you so, no, it's just a code editor, and you really have to have some knowledge about the thing you want to do, because it gets lost in more complex projects, and that's where you have to do most of the work. Also, I found the use case in the light mode in my code editor. I was just sitting in the sun and I couldn't see a thing, but I always use the dark mode, and I thought, well, I can switch that, can I? But I decided to do so because I couldn't see a thing, and it worked perfectly. The only downside is that later on at night I opened my computer and I went blind for like 2 minutes because of how light the screen was. So you definitely need to switch it off after you come back inside. But some of you might be like, bro, you went on holiday and worked every single day? Yeah, sorta. I think that's what indie hacking is about. You go to a new place and you still have to work, but you work in a nice environment. For example, with a view on the sea outside. But yeah, I think that's what it's all about. Of course, I went on a few trips. I'd be dumb if I didn't. But still, I wanted to try and check if this kind of lifestyle is for me, if I ever wanted to take this more seriously. And my feeling is, yeah, absolutely. Although I didn't do one of the most crucial things, which is connecting with other people. I didn't plan my stay near a big city, so it's probably kind of hard to find like-minded people in these rural areas rather. But I think it's still nice to just do the work in a different environment. I only realized this later, but I think if I do this on the next trip, it will only add to the experience. I'm probably curious what I managed to code in that 2 weeks time, and here's the app that I managed to develop. This is a dashboard. I'm not going to show you all the logging and subscription stuff, because that's what's inside the boilerplate, and I've already made 2 videos about that boilerplate, so I'm not going to repeat myself. So here's the app. Let me show you the settings panel. Here's where the users can give their own style, and the AI will learn how they write their videos, and it will give much better responses instead of just general ChatGPT outputs like we were all used to. So that's the settings. And now let's click maybe on create a new script. First we'll make a title, for example, how to use my new app. Then you can choose a thumbnail. I'll just go with this. This is a thumbnail from my best video, and we also put in some unique angles, so the AI will try to come up with something unique. So let's say my app is really intuitive. If you know these shortcuts. And we'll hit on create a new script. I also need to make some bug fixes because currently we're not showing any loading state whatsoever, even though it is loading. I think, yep, we've been redirected. And that's our script page. We have a value guide. That's always a thing that I do before making a video. I try to come up with questions that the users might want answered. I think the thumbnail is not loading correctly. Oh, it is. I just have slow Wi-Fi here. Anyway, that's the value guide. I always want these questions and I try to answer them in my video. And then I have the AI suggestions panel on the right. And here, if we click refresh, this animation will show up, and hopefully we'll see some hook suggestions. And yeah, you see, we have unlocked the power of your app. there are 3 suggestions, and we will then hit apply, and this will be copied right here. Currently, I haven't managed to implement that feature, and I also I'm working on the review thing that I planned, but still it works. And if we hit the other section, you can also generate suggestions for this. I think I will try to automate this so that when you focus on a new section, it will be generated automatically for the first time, and then you will be able to refresh. And as you can see, this will be a great starting point for your script. And as you write, all the context is passed to the AI so that it gives you the most accurate responses for your next section. And yeah, I think that's it. It's not a lot, but still I think without making a SaaS application ever before and without having like a very extensive knowledge in web development, I'm not like 10 years of experience senior. I'm just learning it also and trying to teach people what I know too. And I think that's a pretty good result, and I will be continuing my work on this when I come back home. You see, the work doesn't feel like work when you're sipping a coffee under a palm tree and you're watching the sea and you're just writing something on your computer, and suddenly your idea comes to life and you're building something that many other people could find useful and you're making money from it. Well, that's simply amazing. So that's pretty much a childhood dream come true. So subscribe if you want to see updates on my app, and unfortunately it's time to pack up and go back home and study. I'll see you in the next one.